despite the fact that uh, I prepare the stuff. So, but it's also a learning opportunity for myself. So I'll start by saying, the power of elimination is the same thing as the power of your enlightenment, your intellectual or spiritual enlightenment. That's the same thing as the power of your illumination. It is the depth of knowledge you possess in time that is geared towards relative idea, insightful thoughts that are responsible for your current perspective about anything and everything you know. So the power of illumination is responsible for the difference we see in civilization. It is a power that transformed the world from where it was 100 years ago to where it is now, and then wherever we're going to find ourselves in the future. Both men and women possess the innate ability to draw inspiration and gather intelligible knowledge from both visible and invisible realm and turn ideas into tangible form to transform any subject of your interest, curiosity, dreams, or reality. So you do not need to fight results. They are merely reflections of a process. So what you change is a mindset, and that is responsible for the process that produces unwanted or unsatisfactory result that you're trying to fight with. So I continually spend time trying to learn. Some of the principles that place some in a favorable position, compared to those who are expecting to have a change in their status. And I found out that there is no magic to the difference we all experience in life. There's no magic except the fact that people live their life, and the way they live is based on their ideology and principles that shape their lives and exposes them to the results that they produce daily. And one of the result producing principles is the principle of illumination. One of the result producing principles that people use in life is the principle of illumination. So it's so simple. What you cannot accomplish in the dark become easier when light emerges. Darkness conceals, but light is what reveals. Now, this is the same as comparing, people that are ignorant and people that have knowledge of what they are doing. That's the same thing. So think about it. Whatever you don't know, what exactly do you think happens when you don't know something? So I just define what I consider as the power of illumination. So for those people that just came in to just be able to see what I'm talking about right now. Now, what you cannot accomplish in the dark become easier when light emerges. Darkness conceals, but light reveals and exposes. This is the same as ignorance and knowledge. Now, what you do not know puts you in the dark, and the things you know give you the power to function. What's the operations of light are what creates transformation from the primitive age into civilization. So it is purely the increase in knowledge and moving far away from darkness into light. Now, I want you to understand something today, that your journey from where you are now to where you want to be is a degree of light that you're allowed to permeate your mind and heart. This is where your result in life is guaranteed and confirmed. Please let me take you somewhere today. Some of us have been in the same spot for years and nothing tangible has changed. And then we wonder, what is going on? We stop thinking about our shortcomings, hoping something great is going to happen at a particular point in time. Nothing will happen. I want you to please write this down. Nothing will happen or change in your life if you don't know what you truly want. And secondly, if you are not doing anything on your part to change it, nothing is going to change. So, what I want you to learn today is one of the principles. And then I want you also to understand this principle very well. If the power of this concept enters your mind, you'll be like 50% clear about how things happen and why it happens to you. Whether success or failure, everything we do in life rests on principle. If you've been doing things without a guiding principle, your life is not yet structured. This means there is chaos. And what is missing is light. Wherever there is chaos, whatever is missing is light. Light is also the transforming knowledge that guides many into their successful destination. And that's what you see projected on that slide. Nothing happens by accident except through people's deliberate action to turn idea into reality. The knowledge producing result have sources. And that is what I will connect you with today. Light is nothing else but the knowledge that produces result and transforms your life. It is the power of your enlightenment. Now, what I see is multitude in the oceans of life without a life jacket or the knowledge of how to swim. People are struggling left and right with no clue how to get out of their situation. Hopelessness is pervading the face of the earth, and many are living on pretense that things is going to get better. The truth is, the world is getting very tense and dangerous to live every single day. There is more chaos in the world than it was many years ago. Though there were, we still have advancement in technology and other aspects of civilization, humans are losing their feelings to the occurrence around them. This teaching is to let you know that nothing is going to change if you do not know how they will change. You must have a clear understanding of the process of your change. It's not in ambiguity or, in this journey. You have to understand light is what makes the difference. And that is what I'm about to show you today. Light represents enlightenment, development, knowledge, and growth. Now, there are two major opposing forces that cannot coexist in the same spot. One subdues the other to create distinction and impact. Light carries the power of creative impact while darkness conceals. Whatever is hidden is revealed only by knowledge. The power of illumination represents enlightenment and then the ability to know. You have to know the things that are necessary to achieve your greatness. There is no other way to stay relevant and remain impactful without access to knowledge. Knowledge is very powerful. The degree of the light you emanate drives your influence and the solution you can produce in the society. So nothing happens outside the power and the existence of light. It is the principle of creation. Now you can be relevant anywhere in the universe. Wherever you go, it doesn't matter what language they speak. You can be relevant there. Light is universal. So the power of enlightenment is also universal. It's not restricted to a region or to a place. The first thing is you must understand your source of illumination. And second is to know how it impacts and influences you. And lastly, so how the degree of what attract and affect and reflect on other people's life. Your ability to create any meaningful transformation depends on the power of your illumination. Light is everything, and without it, the world is in shambles and obscurity. You cannot create anything without first knowing and identifying what you want to create. I'm going to talk a little bit about chaos. It's very simple. A structure confirms the presence of light. And when there is no structure, there is chaos. Chaos is the absence of a well-organized structure. The absence of a structure is due to the lack of vision, and the lack of vision indicates the absence of light. So you see, light is also the foundation. So when you experience chaos in your life, you begin to understand what is responsible for this chaos. Now, individual lives and organization often experience chaos. This is not an indication that the world is about to end, except that there is something that vital that is missing. That's why there is chaos somewhere. Light is a revealer of hidden things. This is not necessarily, secret, but I'm talking about answers and solution. Sometimes the answers we are looking for, they are hidden. They are not really like open. Now, the basis of any structure is vision. Without knowledge of what to do, how to do it, the required timeline, who and what is responsible to get things done, there can be no structure. A good structure will create within itself an operational system that keeps it functional and effective. The requirement in a system is this principle to keep the structure functional. And this is the purpose of a vision. So without a vision, there is no structure. Wherever there is no structure, there is chaos. So everything is interrelated. There must be light to impart vision, and vision is what helps you to create structure. A family has a structure. A family has a structure. So also, individual life must have a structure. Your life must have a structure. And then see, when there is no structure in your life, that is an indication that light, the degree of your light that you carry, it's very impaired. It's insufficient to create, the kind of a productive life that you want. So you have to think about it. Structure is an indication that you have vision. And vision is an indication that there is light that is shining onto your path. The vision of a family is what the family represents, how they influence the society, their goals, their achievement, or the statement they make with their visions. So what they mean, what a family means to a society is part of their vision. An example is, the Bush family or the Trump dynasty. What you will notice is they have built structures that place them in the hands of the affairs of the nation, in which way their voice cannot be ignored. So they have a structure because they have a vision and because there is certain light that has really, permeated through them. That's how they were able to create that structure. Now, I want us to understand this. Individual's life is the same. It requires a vision. Your life requires a vision. There's no how you want to go with life without a vision. The absence of structure is the cause of chaos. Without vision, there cannot be a structure. And light is what activates vision. Don't forget, we're talking about the power of illumination. So when you discover in your life that there are something that are not working right, it's because there is no structure. Chaos is an indication of absence of structure. And then when there is no structure, it's because you don't have the vision. And then where there's no vision is because of the absence of light. And I'm going to explain this to you. Without light, your eyes is inactive. Without light, your eyes is inactive. And the same thing goes without knowledge, your vision is impaired. When I say eyes, that means your natural eyes that you see things around you. When I say vision, I'm talking about your mental picture to be able to project into the future. So there are two different things. But one, it's a kind of illustration that gives you, an understanding of the second. Your natural eye will not see in the darkness, in the absence of light. So the same thing, your mental picture is inactive without knowledge. Light represents knowledge. Now, what light is to your eyes is what knowledge is to your vision. Everybody knows that there is a little you can do in the dark because of restriction due to inactive vision. So your eyes are wide open, but you cannot see anything because it's pitch black. You cannot even ascertain your direction of travel because it's dark. Everything is slowing down. There is a restriction in your movement when it's pitch black. Your mind cannot process information accurately because you can't see what is around you. The fear of crashing or accident happening overclouds your mind because of the darkness around you. Anytime you're in a place where it's pitch black, your mind is not functioning well. You're going to grope in the dark and I don't think I know where I'm going. I think I'm going to hit the wall. I don't, you stretch your hand to try to see, am I really in the right direction? It's because there's no light. When there's no light, your vision is impaired. You can't see. Even your eyes may be wide open, but that tells you that your eyes do not see by themselves. It is light that reflects into your eye that makes you to see. And how does that happen? You said when your brain is what interprets what the light reflects and then send the interpretation to your eyes before you can say, oh, okay, now I can see. There is a ball here, there is a table here. But when your eyes are wide open in the dark, they cannot see anything. But when light comes, then your eyes can receive, interpretations of what the light reflects from that object into the brain, and the brain brings it back to you. So the same thing is similar for your vision in life. Light represents knowledge. If you are living life and you don't have knowledge, it's like you have eyes open, but you cannot see. Knowledge is illumination. That is what helps you to determine what you can see. When I say see, I'm not talking about what is around you now. When I talked about your vision, you're talking about projecting into the future. What others cannot see, then you can see those things. Now, here's the question. How much can you accomplish when it's dark? I think it's not a lot. How operational is your life without light? Now, I said this, attempting to live life without adequate knowledge of what you are doing is the reason many are failing, struggling, and confused in different areas. When you see people that are confused, that are struggling and failing, it's just too easy. Close your eyes and walk from the beginning of your street to the end of your street and see how easy you'll be able to get to one end to the other. That's the same thing that happens when people don't have knowledge and they want to, navigate from one point in life to the another to another. They're going to find life very difficult. They're going to be failing. They're going to be struggling. They're going to be confused. Why? Because they don't have the knowledge to navigate. It's like the blind person driving on a highway. You are going to crash. You are going to crash. So here's what I'm getting to. Just as darkness conceals, light also reveals everything your eyes could not see, despite being wide open. The way light functions at night, or the need for brightness in the day to aid vision and activities, with knowledge, you activate your mental vision. Knowledge is what activates your mental vision. Knowledge is what activates your mental vision. Now, and when your mental vision is being activated, then you also be able to see the future clearly and make right decisions. If it is hard and almost impossible to function in the dark, why would people think they can achieve anything tangible in life without adequate knowledge? It's the same thing. The physical illustrates the spiritual to you. If you close your eyes and run from one end of your street to the other, it's difficult. You're going to miss your step. You're going to go the sideways. The same thing. People cannot be successful in life without the adequate knowledge of what they're involved in. And I say you cannot create what you cannot see. First, you must have a mental picture before creating anything. The depth of your knowledge is the height of your vision. You can only see as far as the knowledge you have. I want you to know that. You can only see as far as the knowledge that you have. You can only possess as far as you can see. You cannot hit a target that you cannot see. Either can you achieve anything that your mental vision cannot capture. It's going to be impossible. Your eyes can see things around you, but not things that are concealed in knowledge or ideas that can make for your discoveries. Your eyes only see your surroundings, but your eyes cannot see things that are of deep discoveries. It takes your mental vision and knowledge to be able to access that realm of illumination. Your eyes can see things around you that are not concealed, but once it's depth, you have to find knowledge to unravel that understanding. Your mental vision is one of the avenues you receive illumination. Your mental vision is one of the avenues you receive illumination. People with great ideas use their mental vision and not only what they can see physically. In the instance where you start seeing things physically and you think, oh, what you can see right now physically is what gives you the idea. No, it's your brain that is using the accumulated information and knowledge you already know before to interpret things you are seeing with your physical eye. Your physical eye doesn't have any knowledge to give you idea of where you're supposed to be in life. I want you to understand something. There's a truth to the saying that you become what you behold. That is the reason why your success or failure are a reflection of your physical environment and mental pictures. Something you have consistently entertained yourself with over the period of time. Now, what I'm trying to say here is you got to understand that your life, what you become, is based on what you behold most of the time. The reflection of your life is based on your environment of nurture, is based on what picture you see in yourself or whatever state of life you find yourself. It's because that's what your eyes can see, and that's what you know, and that's what you can become. You cannot become what you don't know. You cannot become what you have not seen. When you grow up in an environment, you might see somebody, oh, my dad is a teacher. My dad is an engineer. Oh, I would like to be an engineer. Why? Because that's what you see every day. Oh, I want to become a pastor because my dad is that's what you see every day. So when you grow up in an environment whereby the things you see a majority of people are doing the same thing in that environment. It's because that's what they see. And that's what they see. What they see is what their mental picture can capture. And that's what they can become. Except some insightful knowledge that will change people from that spot to become something different. If your understanding of life is based on what you see every day, with your physical eye, that is what you will become. When you change your focus to see through your mental vision, then you have successfully shifted your paradigm. The light activates your vision, and your vision is responsible for your creativity. What you see in your mind, you can create in your life. So that there must be a kind of a shift in your focus, and that you can do with your mental vision. So if you live in an environment that all you see is just not what you want, you have to find a way to shift your mental vision to be able to project beyond what you see with your physical eye. And once you can create that imagination in your mind, you can create anything that you can imagine. Light precedes vision, and vision is what it comes before creativity. Let me talk to us about a different kind of light. I'm going to talk about two categories of light. Now, there are two categories of light I'm going to talk about. One is internal light, and the other one is external light. And you're going to understand this. Light has an intensity, and there are degrees of light. For this teaching, I will just highlight two categories, which is the internal and the external. Let me illustrate this. Now, if you want to light up your room, you probably need a 60 watts bulb. That's enough for your room. Now, let's say, okay, you have a bigger place, you want to go to the ballroom where they have, functions. A 2000 watts, bulb can even be okay for a ballroom. So these lights are like indoor lights. They're like your internal light that you carry. Every human being has an internal light. Every one of us, we have an internal light. Now, but this is very different. Now, if you want to use the bulb in the ballroom or the bulb in your room to take it outside, to light some event outside, it's not going to function well. So what I'm trying to say is consider this internal light as just indoor light. Using them in an outdoor space will limit their effect and function. What is required for an external use must contain more energy that can create a higher impact. So for example, a typical Super Bowl arena or stadium will use a 90,000 watts light. That's a different. Indoor, you can use a 60 watts. You can use a 2,000 watt. But when it comes to like a stadium, a Super Bowl stadium, they use a 90,000 watts. That's a great impact light. It's the same thing. So what am I trying to say? We all have internal light, and that is why we can connect to life at the level at which we operate. What you know now is based on your internal light. But external light is meant to impact people. It's an outdoor light. And to aid others to see. It is creating an atmosphere that fosters creative capability for people to function and find themselves. Now, example of an external light is people that are business owners. They have a light that is more than their own light, and they were able to create environment, atmosphere for other people to see with their light. Business owners carry external light. Inventors carry external light. Because what? They have a light that surpasses what only them can benefit from. So they now carry that measure of that degree of light to create impact that people also begin to benefit from. That's the difference. Your internal light is meant for you. It's capable to help you function as a person. But people that have, everybody have internal light. But if you want to transition from internal light to external light, you have to have the degree in which there is something you carry, the knowledge you have can impact people around you and the world around you. So example are leaders of organizations. Example are leaders of countries that people really say, I know this person can do it. Now, the difference between those with internal light and those with both internal and external light is the power behind influence. That's the difference, is the power behind influence. People that have external light have the power to influence majority of people, a lot of people. The internal light is the knowledge from within that feeds your personal conviction, belief system, ideology, inspiration, and basic information that you utilize daily. It does not matter if you are producing results or not. That's your light. That's you. Nobody's going to, try to weigh you down or, evaluate you based on your internal light. People can live with their little light and be satisfied all the rest of their life. The inside light, which is your internal light, is what keeps you functional. That is the knowledge of what you know today that is responsible for your life. The knowledge of what you know today that is responsible for your life is your internal light. That is your strength and speed. But others are not impacted by that light. That's the difference. It's called an internal light because it only functions for your own life. Others are not seen with that light. You are not projecting it for others to see. So it is only meant for you. You are maintaining your course of your life based on your own light. Now, while external light is a higher degree of revelation, ideas, belief systems that are already tested and function well enough to produce results. And this result attract others to that light. This degree of knowledge or illumination compel people to acknowledge you because of what you are producing. So people know you. They see the dimension of this light and say, whoa, you are employers of labor, leaders of organization. You can create impact because you have external light. I want you to simply understand it this way. The degree of your illumination is the same as your influence. Let's use the celebrities for example. How do they influence millions of people? What is it that the celebrities have that they influence millions of people? I want to explain this to you today. They use the power of entertainment. They use the power of entertainment. Whatever is appealing to the senses of people, that's what they use. When a song has a billion views, it is because those viewers are influenced by that inspiration. You know, those people, the celebrities that we have million people, following them, they have a light that they've created to capture people's vision. So they become the light to interpret things to people the way they want people to see things. They create the concept they want people to buy and program it in you. In other words, they project their light into your vision to create what they want you to see and feel. So they sing a song that you like, oh, this song is appealing to me. And then you begin to, that song begin to interpret your environment. That song begin to create a mood for you. That song begin to create an, adventure for you in your mind. They project their light into your own vision and you begin to see with their light and begin to, follow their own ways. That's how they influence people. They appeal to the emotion and sensitivity of their fans. They also use psychological tools to attract and seduce people. It is a well-calculated effort to make their fans see and feel whatever they want them to see and feel. They create vision for you with their light. They create vision for you with their light. So most of the time, they subdue your own vision by projecting their light into your own imagination, and you capture that light and you use that light to become your own ability to see into the future you want. That's why a lot of people want to dress like celebrity. They want to speak like celebrity. They want to do things like celebrity. Why? Because the light of that celebrity is projected into their vision over subdue their own vision, and then they were living by that light of that celebrity and they can see what they want. They begin to see, in the light of the light that is projected into their own vision. Now, this is my warning. You say you must recognize the light that captures your vision. Be careful at the same time, because every light will not take you to your destination. Every light will not take you to your destination, no matter how bright the light is. Some knowledge is to entertain you, but never to train you. You have to understand that. Some knowledge is to entertain you, but never to train you. But how do we access the power of illumination? Whatever you know comes from what you open yourself to, by where you have been and what you currently entertain. Things you give your attention to and how you program yourself are the forces that is driving the level of the light you have. No one came to this world with all the information required to accomplish their desires. We live in a world of learned habits. We learn it. That's why I say if you don't use what you learn, you're going to lose it. That's the reason. You lose it if you don't use it. Because we live in the world of a learned habit. The knowledge we possess is acquired and learned. Human brains develop from when babies are born to a certain age. There is two explanations here about how human access and acquire knowledge. The first, human brain is shaped by experience. The numbers of your brain cells does not change, but the way they are connected, which is called the synapses, is the mystery behind how you function. Now, 2 million synapses form each second in the infant brain, 2 million every second. So the neurons are trying to connect together. So the babies, when the neurons are connecting together, the babies start learning how to talk. They start learning how to work. So those neurons connect together to form a circuit. Now, this thing which are connected together, they are like so much that it's more than what the babies want to use. And at the point in time, they come, there will be a time where things that are not being used are being, eliminated. So I'll tell you what happened. He said a 2-year-old brain has over 100 trillion synapses, double the number of adults. But the synapses are excess. Therefore, they make a new connection that pair them to participate in a circuit. This keep and strengthen them, but those without a circuit or pattern get eliminated. The pattern form is what creates our experience. So when those neurons are coming together to form a circuit, you can form a circuit of speech. The baby start learning how to talk. And then some other neurons, all those trillions, million neurons that are not being used, then they get eliminated. It's like a footpath. When you don't walk in that area again, you just discover there's a weed covering the area. You say, oh, but we used to pass this place before, but there's no road there. That's how the brain works. There are some things when, if you don't use them for a long time, you lose them. That neuron that works, the circuit that formed, that taught you maths when you're in high school, and you've never gone back to maths for over 15 years, don't think that thing is still going to be there. Those neurons will just they just disappear. They find something else to do. And that's why you begin to struggle again to get back into what you say, I used to know this thing before, but I don't know it again. Why? Because you're not using it. Those neurons that are, trigger the work and get eliminated. And that's what form the patterns of how you acquire the knowledge you have. The second thing is, David Eagleman said, who we are depend heavily on where we've been. Who we are depend heavily on where we've been. Now, I said something in the slide. I say, once you reach the oil rig of your brain, where the natural resources of a higher intelligence flow, do not abandon that pathway. That is the connection to your creative power. Do not ignore it. Once that part of your brain opens up, don't leave it, don't abandon it. You have to go back and continue to work, because those neurons, they receive the electrical signals from your action and they continue to do what you're supposed to do. But the day you abandon those area of your brain and those area of your talent or your gift or your light, those neurons just withered away. And that path that they formed how to help you to function in some area, that pathway just become eliminated. And that's why I say, once you reach the oil rig of your brain, where the natural resources of a higher intelligence flow, do not abandon that pathway. That is a connection to your creative power. Do not ignore it. That's why you see people that are into the high level of creativity, they continue doing that same thing. And people that have not gotten that place, they were like, I want to be creative. But once you get to that point where the part of your brain opens up, just continue. It might be in skills, it might be in some kind of potential or gift. Just continue to work on it. And that pathway will continue to, establish itself until it becomes a pattern for you. Now, this is what Eagleman says. Say your environment forms your principles and belief system. The mental and spiritual input derives from your nurturing environment contributed to your status. It said it is an established fact that your environment creates your experience, which impacts what goes on in your brain. And that determines what you know. What you know is determined by the environment you've exposed yourself to. That's how you acquire the knowledge you have now. How do you access illumination? When the synapses of your brain formed a circuit and they show you a pattern, and then the environment that you exposes yourself to. Eagleman said everything you've experienced has altered the physical structure of your brain, from the expression of genes to the position of molecules to the architecture of neurons, your family origin. Those are the things that form the knowledge you carry now. Your culture, your friends, your work, every movie you've watched, every conversation you've had. These have all left their footprint in your nervous system. They left their footprint there. So that's the knowledge you carry. That's the light you carry now. These indelible microscopic impressions accumulate to make you who you are and to constrain who you can become. You carry the light you carry was based from all those things that I just mentioned. That's the level of your knowledge. Is based on the things you're exposed to, the things you've learned before. And these things make you and shape you, but at the same time, they can be your constraint to become who you want to be in life. So that's where it's very, very important you pay attention. So you are responsible to know what is accessible to you. You are responsible to know what knowledge you are subjected yourself to. You're responsible also to understand how this knowledge is influencing your life. Never underestimate the things you're exposing yourself to. They form the light you carry. Don't ever underestimate those things. They form the light you carry. The brighter your light, the greater your impact. It all depends on what you expose yourself to. The brighter your light, the greater your impact in life. This is all based on what you expose yourself to. The capacity of your light is a power behind your nurturing. Illumination is not what you get by mere, because you want to read a book. No, it's just not want a book. It is the inspiration that comes when your mind is continuously thinking and analyzing knowledge in some specific areas. Human possessed knowledge. It flows through individual. It expresses ideas that are based on fact. These facts are discoveries made by people through their exposures to certain things and what they have within. The knowledge of electricity is from the work and the life of the man that discovered it. So knowledge is not isolated, it flows through life. Any knowledge you want to acquire is not just, it flows through life. People discover something with their life, and then the knowledge of what they discover is part of their life. So that knowledge, some people might put it in a book. That knowledge, some people might put it in a play. So knowledge, illumination flows through life. I want you to understand that. Without life, there is no knowledge, because every knowledge emanates from someone's life. Think about it. The knowledge of galaxies and all those things, some people discover it and they communicated it to other people. So the flow of that illumination comes through that life. So also when you're expecting illumination, to access illumination, you also need to understand it flows through people's life as well. The measure of light you have is related to the knowledge and the value you have developed. The measure of the light you carry currently is related to the knowledge and value you have developed. Don't expect your light to shine more than the knowledge that you have acquired. Don't expect your life to be better than the knowledge you currently have in your system. And nothing changes in your life until you receive a knowledge or idea to change it. That's very important. Nothing changes in your life until you receive a knowledge or an idea to to change it. I want to talk about now another way to access illumination is learn to position yourself for that illumination. It's your positioning. How have you positioned yourself in your life? How have you positioned yourself in your life? You got to think about it. Position is very important. Now, what I want you to think about is even if you don't have that high capacity of light, there is a place in which you position yourself that you can receive the reflection of light, and then what you receive, you can also reflect the same back. You don't have to be that one that carry that high intensity light. You don't have to be that one that have that huge external light. But when you position yourself in a place, there's a way you can reflect the light of other people. When you receive that light, you can reflect it. Now, how do you do that? Find someone that is going somewhere and associate with them. That's number one way. The quality of your life reflect the quality and calibers of the people that surrounds you. The quality of your life reflects the caliber of the people that surround you. I'm going to say it again. The quality of your life, it reflects the calibers of people that surround you. There is no neutral ground in a relationship. If it is not inspiring, enhancing, and increasing your ability to do better, it is destructive. There's no two ways about relationship. It's either it's inspiring you, enhancing you, and making you to be better, or it's going to destroy you. So find someone that is going somewhere and associate with them. The second thing I'm going to talk about, locate an environment where you can reflect light from others to produce yours. There is something about a strategic environment. You must place yourself in a strategic environment where you can create avenue for the faith that you need to create the future you want. Not all environment will help you to sustain the vision of your life. Find an environment that there is a light in that environment. Environment where there is knowledge that you need to become who you want to be. And go and position yourself in that environment. Learn to position yourself by association, by environment, and the third thing is by your thought pattern. It said we become what we think, and what we become, we attract. What do you think? How are you thinking? That's what determines who you attract and the kind of people you attract. Now, if we become what we think, and what we become, we attract, does it not make sense to only think about what you want to attract so that you can become that thing? I'm going to say it again. If we become what we think and what we become is what we attract, does it not make sense that we should be thinking about what we want to attract and also we can become that thing? I found friends and we are in this journey together. We found the light, and because we found light, we're going to try. We're traveling to different places. We see people coming. We live in El Paso, we go to Virginia because there's a light that we are following. And somebody left Kansas and drove to El Paso because there's a light they are following. Somebody flew from Canada to Virginia because there's a light association. I think all of us discovered that there's a light somewhere. We all going to follow this light. So we're creating an association. We understand. We have people relocating. This is not like a kind of we're trying. No, this is real. It only takes people who see this light to begin to move. This light moves you when you find it. It's a light that will make somebody to quit a job and say, no, there's something somewhere that I need to do. There's a light. And that light has given you a vision to be able to see, project into the future. But when you don't have this light, you're just going to be in the same spot. Find people who have seen the light, associate yourself with them, because what they have seen, you will receive that reflection, what they have seen. Association is not difficult. I could see this person is going somewhere. I'm going to follow this person. Oh, I could see. That's why people say, I want to work in this organization, because they know that organization is going somewhere. They say, "Oh, I'm just trying to get into this company." Once you can get into that company, they can, they're going to set you up. They're going to, give your family something. That's what we found out when we joined the military. We say, "Oh, military is one of the best. They're going to pay for your school. They're going to send your family to travel and those things," because there's a certain light that the military projected, and that light appeals to our vision. It makes us to see, and then we discover that we're going to follow this light. So find someone, find an association, find a location, an environment that will support where you're going. That environment must be an environment that strategically help you to be in the position you want to be. Also your thought pattern is also important. Do not limit yourself. Don't limit your light. You have an internal light, and you have you can transition from that internal light to that external light. Do not limit your light. You can't be the one to limit yourself. If you can't understand what we just talked about, if you don't know how to find an association of people that are going somewhere, you're going to limit your light, because what you carry is not enough for you to see better. You need more illumination. If you can't find an environment that is reflecting light, you're going to limit yourself. If you can't think or work with people that think in a certain way, you're going to limit yourself. You're going to be, I've seen people being friends with people for almost 15 years, and that friend has not impacted them anyhow. They've not even changed anything about them. And there's like, oh, that person is my friend. But what is that friend? There's an adage that when you show me my friend, I know the kind of person you are. So if you show me your friend, I can actually know maybe you are going somewhere or not. So think about that. You have to associate it. Don't limit your light. I want you to understand this. The degree of your light is the height of attainment of your vision. The degree of your light is the height of the attainment of your vision. These things are practical. You can't beat this. Now I'm going to explain this. You are limited not by your vision. Your vision is not what limits you, but what limits you is the degree of the light, because the light is what enhances your vision. Remember, light is knowledge, and you cannot live beyond the knowledge that you have. So the degree and the measure of the knowledge what you have in you, your enlightenment, is what determines the life, the quality of life that you're going to live. So understand is, how far can you run in the dark? How much can you get accomplished in the dark? Result producing knowledge is essential in your daily activities, just as light is necessary. How can you function without understanding whatever you are doing? How do people live a successful life outside the required knowledge to operate? Is there any form of excellence or outstanding accomplishment that is without power of enlightenment or depth of illumination? I don't think so. So just remember this. Light is what activates your vision. You cannot see with your eyes without light. Knowledge is your access to see better and make good decisions. What is real and true get concealed in the absence of light. Without light, vision cannot function. When there is no vision, there is no creativity. And this affects clarity. The lack of clarity reduces speed for accomplishment, because doubt and uncertainties will cloud and rule the mind. This will cause hesitation and lack of confidence, thereby affecting result. That's limitation. You cannot see. Because you cannot see, you don't have a vision, because there is no light. And then there's no vision, there's no creativity. There's no creativity, you don't know where you're going. There's no speed for you to move ahead in life. If there's no speed, you begin to lose confidence in what you're doing. And there's no confidence, you cannot produce results. So these are process, and these are phases of how we live our life. Think about the solution you want to provide. What areas of your life do you want to improve? Think about that. The degree of your light is the height of your attainment. Your vision, it's not functional when there is no light. And remember, we said earlier, to have a structure, you have to first of all have a vision before you can have a structure. And you can't have a vision until you have a light, because you cannot see without light. Light is knowledge. As far as you can see in life is based on the knowledge. The quality of your life is just based on the knowledge that you have. Let me give you a very good example. See, when you stand in your street in the night, and if it's very dark, and then you have only one street light that is on, see, you can only see as far as the brightness of that street light. Where the street light does not cover and is very dark in all the area, you can't see those area. So that's how far individual's light can go. So the light, you cannot see beyond the extent and the distance in which your light has projected. The same thing about knowledge. The knowledge you have in your life is only the quality of life you can live. There's no how you can live better, more accomplished than the depth of the knowledge you carry at this point in time. The best of the life you can live is the best of the knowledge you have acquired. That's the power of illumination. When you access more illumination, more knowledge, more enlightenment, your life begin to skyrocket high. You begin to live beyond. And people are going to see you and say, whoa, what a magical life. No, it's not a magical life. It's because you're accessing depth, knowledge that projects your vision. And that vision is projecting your life. It's the same thing when you are driving. If you're the only one on the highway in the dark and you turn on your full light, you only see as far as that light goes. Anything beyond the projection of that light, you can't see. The same way knowledge works. The same way knowledge works. And it's very important to understand this. The degree of your light is the height of attainment of your vision. When without vision, there's no creativity. Without creativity, there's no future. You can't produce anything without creativity. The creative minds are the secret to productivity. You got to understand that. So you have to clamor for illumination. You have to seek illumination. That's going to take me to the next slide, which says personalized knowledge. I want you need to know what knowledge you possess. That's how you start, first of all, to evaluate yourself. What is the degree of the knowledge that you possess? And what is that knowledge for? What is that knowledge for? That knowledge you possess, what is it meant for? Find those who need what you have, and you can give or assist them. Because why do I say that? So when you have a knowledge about something and you are able to support other people with that knowledge, those will benefit from it, and also you will benefit from that same concept. The second thing is, when you know the source of your knowledge or illumination, be consistent with that source. Be consistent. If you know this is where I acquire my knowledge, or if you know this is this association that is, impacting my life, you want to be consistent with that relationship. Or if you understand that this environment is where I gain my inspiration from, you want to be consistent in that environment. Or if you understand that these are the thoughts that I think that really put me in the high level where my inspiration is high, you want to be consistent with that thought pattern. When you know the source of your knowledge or illumination, be consistent with the sources. If you know that if you pray, or when you pray, there's a flood of revelation into your mind, you want to be consistent with that thing. Another thing is that when you pay whatever price to acquire result producing knowledge, it takes a price. I remember the day that I had to fly from here. I had to go back to Nigeria to talk to one person. And it cost me, I think it cost me about $4,000. Why? Because I had to talk to that person. So when you understand what light means, you will pay the price. Pay the price, whatever price. It does not matter how much it costs you. The truth is you will benefit from it at the end of the day, and your benefit is going to outweigh the price. People say they pay, I've heard about in a book, somebody say he paid $500,000 to have a lunch with another person. Why? Because it's not just sitting down to eat, it's not the food, it's just the connection. It's the connection. Because light is it's about to flood that person. You know, I'm going to pay for this. And sometimes that's the difference between mentality, how some people think. Some people like, well, I can't pay the amount of money to just, go and see one person, but you don't understand. You see, that's a different way of thinking. When you understand what light you're following, you understand that, there's not going to be price that is too high to pay, to attain some level of light in your life. And sometimes I was like, oh, somebody's going to travel all the way from Canada to Virginia. Wow, God, how is that person going to do it? Well, I don't know. That person's going to do it because they found some light in where they're going to. That's how it is. People pay prices to get that light. And lastly, seek after the necessary knowledge that imparts your vision. When you know that this knowledge is going to impart my vision, you have to go seek after that knowledge. This is your goal in life. Your goal in life is to illuminate the world by becoming an establishment, a generational phenomenon that the world cannot ignore. If you've not written down anything in this class, I want you to write this down. Your goal in life is to illuminate the world by becoming an establishment, a generational phenomenon that the world cannot ignore. It's all goes back to the light that you carry. The light that you carry is what will bring you into that place of that establishment, that generational phenomenon that the world cannot ignore. It's the light. He said the world is not going to ignore light. The world is in darkness. People are confused. People are struggling. People don't know what to do with their lives. When they see that there's a solution somewhere, they can't ignore that solution. They're just going to rush to that area. They're just going to be pleading, can I please? No, they will. Everybody want to get out of darkness, but not everybody carries that light. But you have an opportunity to begin to understand this. Your goal is what? Illuminate the world with your light by becoming an establishment, a generational phenomenon that the world cannot ignore. It all goes down to what is the degree of light that you're carrying. And that's what you have to pay attention to, the degree of light that you're carrying. I'm going to say steps to increase your illumination. It's a very easy. And first, I'm going to let you know the key to life is productivity. The key to life is productivity. What is the essence of illumination? Is for you to become productive in life, to be able to have higher degree of light, which is knowledge, and to be able to create results in the environment and the world. So the key to life is productivity. The principle of productivity starts with the understanding of the basic function of what you have that can get you what you want. That's it. You have the light. Do you know what that light is? I say you need to know what that light you carry, what it means. Know what knowledge you possess and what it's for. Because it's the beginning of your productive life. Maximizing result is not a magic. You effectively utilize the available resources. Available resources include the knowledge you have that you access through illumination. You apply discipline and create plans that produce best outcome. The seed is your investment. It is one of the things that allow for success in your life. The result you get in life is driven by what you do each day. Your productive life cannot exceed your beliefs. What you believe is that what drives your activities, and your activities is the process to your creative and productive, life. So the first thing about step to increase your illumination is number one is nothing works outside your ability to think through. You have to be able to think through. You have to be able to think through. A knowledge requires a great thinking process to be able to make it effective. The ability to think through things around you, things that you lay your hands on. The second, you have to gain creative understanding. Gain creative understanding about what you want and what you're doing. Be very exact about which area of life you want your light to shine. And to whom do you want your light to guide or assist? Whatever hinders the source of your illumination hinders your creative potential. So gain creative understanding. The third thing is The knowledge you receive is directed to some area. Know those areas of your life. Sometimes people acquire knowledge, they have access to knowledge, and they get confused. What is this knowledge for? What am I going to use this for? Why is this applicable to my life? I hope there's nobody here today that's saying, okay, this thing I'm learning, how am I going to apply it to my life? This, what you're learning, is explaining to you that without knowledge, you cannot go far in life. That's the power of illumination. And the more knowledge you have, the better your life will be. But you need to know, when you are acquiring that knowledge, what area of your life do you need to apply that knowledge? The fourth thing, you need to know how to translate knowledge into practical use. Like a friend is going to say, how my concern is, how are we going to use all those things we are learning? How do you use the power of illumination? How do you apply the power of illumination to your life to make your life better? Number one, I've said something about you have to position yourself. If you don't know anything up to do about this power of illumination today, first of all, ask yourself, the relationship you have, the association you have, does it have the measure of light that you need to become greater in life? If not, you need to find a new relationship, find a new association. That's how to apply this power of illumination. A second thing, in your environment, have you seen any light or any traces of light in your environment that will help your vision? If there's nothing like that in your environment, you need to find a strategic environment that can help you to create the concept you want to become in life. And also your thought pattern. So know how to translate the knowledge into practical use. So don't leave this place and say, well, I just attend that class, but I don't know how it's applicable to me. Go and apply this to your life. Maintain the process once you realize it. It's the same thing. Now you realize this knowledge, now go and maintain this process. But what I'm trying to say here is, once you understand the process of your illumination, make sure you maintain that process. When you know where your knowledge comes from, when you know where your inspiration comes from, when you know where your revelation comes from, maintain that process. When you know how you access the knowledge you need, maintain that. And lastly, it is all about your ability to produce and create the pathway for yourself and others. These can only occur in two ways. People can see with your light, or you show them their light, and then they can follow it. You can do two things. You can allow people to see with your light by impacting them, by creating that environment, or you can just help them to know how to find their own light. So those are the steps to increase your illumination. And at this point in time, this is the last slide. It's a very quick class. This is the last slide. Your purpose is to light up the world. And that's the power of illumination. There is no need to carry a light if you think you are not qualified to lighten up the world. Your purpose is to be a light. That means you want to create an atmosphere for people to see with the knowledge you carry. First of all, that knowledge is internal to yourself, and you use it to be successful. And then you now transition from an internal light to an external light. Why? Because when you understand the knowledge you're carrying is beyond what you need, and then you see that people can benefit from it, and then leads you into creating concept that people want to follow. Remember, it's a tested knowledge. Then people will be attracted to you and follow you. So you can transition from the two, basically from internal light to an external light. And I think that's supposed to be everyone's movement, to transition from having an internal light, which is the knowledge that is basically for yourself, and become grow in knowledge and illumination that you can also begin to impart people around you, to become an external light. So if you are having a 60 watts before, you want to increase the capacity of your light to like 90,000 watts to be able to, be useful at the Super Bowl level. So your purpose is to light up the world. And I put a scripture here from the Bible saying, you are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden. That's who you are. And I hope today, like, you've been able to, gain few or two things from this class. And this will be my last slide. We're going to go into questions and concerns, and people have questions. But first of all, I want to thank you for making it to this class. And I want you to know you're deeply appreciated. Looking forward to see you on August 1. Now, August 1, I'm going to teach about tell your vision. Tell your vision. Because now we're emphasizing light. But when you begin to acquire that knowledge, how does that knowledge translate into a vision that projects into the future for you? So next Saturday, I'm going to be talking about tell your vision. And you remember there's a slide that I talked about how the celebrities, uses their own light to capture people's vision. And then the celebrities are telling you their own vision through their own light. But you want to be the one to tell your own vision and program yourself. And the world wants to hear you when you tell your vision. That's what next week is going to be about, telling your own vision. It's about vision next week. And I hope to see you next week. And I hope also that you invite somebody, some people you love, that you want them to hear and to listen to what we're talking about. So without further ado, if you have a question, I want you to please at this time ask your questions and we can learn from your questions.